Good afternoon, everyone. Valencia, Spain. Half of the town is underwater near the coast. Year worth of rain in a single day event that just occurred. It's ongoing with the crop losses and with the damage in the city, so let's take a look at it. And on Halloween, it was still water draining out of areas, but as today emerges, these are the images coming out of Valencia in Spain. You know, the floods originally started like this with the flash flood warnings. People's car was struck. They started to help each other to get out. And then it started to turn muddier. That's because it was scoured and forced downhill, gouging down to the bedrock. But this dam was a Roman-era dam 2,000 years prior that withstood and held the overflow. And this is what remains of building foundations filled in with metal and rubber. Before and after image for you. This looks exactly like North Carolina, and I would wonder what the depth of the river is at normal height to the bottom, and it overflowed into that. It looks like olive grove right there next to the green building, up substantially, running over the road on both sides. And the scouring also ripping through canal waterworks. We see it in neighborhoods also. I showed you this one yesterday as it ran through downhill just in the middle of people's homes. There was a breakthrough somewhere and the water followed it. And a look at waterways, that same scouring effect, but some wave must have been against that peach-colored house. There must have been an obstruction, a wave started cresting right in there, eroding from beneath. But in the city of Valencia, this is what we have images of, the debris inside the city. And you might think, well, how much of the city is there to take and clean out? Every single underpass looks like this. How long do you think it would take to clean out? And then the parking garages also, they're in the process of pumping them because the cars had floated to the ceiling. Every one of those a loss. Remember, there's going to be a lot of used cars coming on the market, but they're all going to have water damage. So look in the headlights. If the headlights are foggy, it's been underwater. And I want to leave this person anonymous and give them a big thanks and shout out. This comes from a weather forecaster talking about spending hours looking at radio zone data, satellite, and weather charts. Like I did in yesterday's video, also looking at the upwelling. And then the quote, this is an amazing what stationary cold core cutoff load could do when at a parking location with warm water access. Warm water below, cold air high aloft. Sitting in one place for days, isolated from and broke off from the jet stream, a steering jet stream far to the north. And add in that terrain to the northwest, it couldn't go anywhere, got locked in. That low pressure center cut off from the jet stream, it was a cold low. This graphic from earlier on the 1st of November, weather warnings again for the same exact areas that were just flooded. Now, will it have this much rainfall again? Not sure, but there are new runoff channels for that water to flow. So it's going to follow that first before it goes to the old channels. Looking at the airport here, you might want to check your travel plans if you do have any. It's going to be a while to clean that up. And as always, when disasters like this, supermarkets cleaned out. There's a fair few photos coming through, but you know, we see this every single disaster, every single country. And Trump warns a Kamala win could lead to a 1929 style crash. Costco seen double-digit growth in gold sales as gold hits all-time highs. Goldman Sachs raised their target $2,900 an ounce by early 2025. Silver outperformed gold up in 2024 32%. That's an 11-year high. And JP Morgan forecasts silver to hit $36 an ounce in early 2025. Call the proud Americans of the Patriot Gold Group today before it's too late. And Patriot Gold Group has the No Fee for Life IRA, where your IRA or 401k can be in physical gold or silver. And you may qualify for the No Fee for Life IRA on qualifying rollovers. Give them a call, 888-546-7020 for your free investor guide today. And now on with the video. So as I've been looking through today's news headlines and mayors asking for help and army being sent to certain areas, These are the two. There's Valencia, and you can see it. They're both south of Valencia. Alfafar and Piaporta. Satellite image for you here. The plumes coming out of eroded earth. The north plume that you can see the harbor there. The city of Valencia is there, and the southern part of the city is, well, it's underwater. And that's going to be difficult with all the industry down there and the exports, as well as all the apartment complexes and people live there, roads, etc. And you can see the exact same shot before and after. Left side back in October, right side it's the false color image. It should be brown because it's floodwater, obviously, but they put it false color so you can see that. They're just changing the color, false color. So they're reversing the colors, you can see blue, and the water is very easy to see where it flooded from that perspective. So I drew the line on here. Anything south of that is very discernible. You see that river there? How it's coming, and then it doglegs. Well, that's where all the water spilled out of, because that was the bend in the river. As soon as the water was coming down and overflowed, it went down there first, and whatever was left went out the regular river. But the rest of it came straight down, follow the buildings. So anything south of this black line is going to be totally flooded, because that's where the water from the entire river system went to. And here it is. So there's the bend, easily seeable in the middle. Look where all the water is. Those entire area of that is underwater. And this is why so many of the mayors are like, we really need help here. Like, seriously, you don't understand, like, we're underwater, literally. It's the first time they're even trying to deal with this. And, like, put it on your radar for a second. Like, things like this were not thought possible. And you're trying to deal with something in real time that's you haven't even visualized it. So you have to deal with it in real time on something you've never thought would be possible, and it's happening in front of you. So imagine how scared they are. It's cut off down there, then no help's coming, and this is why you need to have some sort of emergency preps, because if you were stuck there in an apartment building that was 5 floors and you had your food and water and thing, you could ride it out. You could wait until help got there, because you got everything in the house, and you need bags for disposal as well. Rubbish bags, and be able to put that somewhere safe. This is the reason why people get ready. So looking in to see this lake area here, or filled in a remnant of what is now, I got the 1553 Nova Hispania Descriptio map on the right side, 1553 AD, and Valencia on the left side. You can see the port now. You can see where the inland sea used to be. So that inlet into the lagoon there has been filled in, and those areas drained completely, and probably that sediment thrown on to make that giant seawall. That area has been drastically changed. So here's your 1553 map again, but a little bit wider for you. You can see how they mark cathedrals, main water tributaries, and also islands in the middle of the rivers coming down. And a look at the 1584 Maris Mediterranei Pars map here. About 30 years after that first map that we saw. And I like how they included the royalty symbol in the right corner. So Valencia, you're looking for those 2 islands, and you're going to go west for Valencia, and that's Ibiza and Mallorca. So you're looking on the maps here, you're always looking for those 2 islands to the east coming off the coast there of Valencia. Or you can use the islands to trace back to Valencia, depending on which direction you would be traveling. Now here's the 1643 version. The cartographer Vincenzo Luchini. You have more stylized castles, forts, and this type of... Notice the star fort down there to the right as well. So if you're looking off, again, at Valencia, you're looking, okay, the islands are there, but I see a star fort, which is also interesting. Not in the other 2 maps prior, not that same shape. So just throwing it out there. And if we move forward, 1845, everything's very standardized by then, and you can see Valencia with the red underline, and all the contours and the islands are demarcated in a different way. Now this storm, or the event, was called a Dana, and it's like extreme winds, extreme hail. It's not really a Medicaid-named storm, but a gale / mega flood event rolled into one. So Valencia there for you, and you can see just south of Valencia, all that area was flooded, especially where the black is, and then how it drains even further down south. But all eyes are on Valencia now, but that shall move. That's further out in the countryside. There's north and west of there, you see, and you can see where that drainage basin is. That all got washed out, just like North Carolina, around Lake Lure. That whole drainage basin ran right into that reservoir at Lake Lure, and it's the exact same thing. So Requena, that would be the equivalent to some of these towns that were scoured right down the middle. A little bit wide out here, so it's between Madrid and Valencia. You can see once you go over that mountain range there, that whole drainage basin came out in one single place. And then it came down the mountain after it scoured through there. Like when I say scour, you have to look at the North Carolina footage. The exact same thing happening as that water's coming down. Now it's pooling and distributing to the old floodplain basins. Now, so far, Valencia, this flood itself, now this is just only days after we're looking at something like 596 million euros, getting into the billions, but they're absolutely coming well above this. And this is the largest amount of disaster relief in all of Spain since 1994. Now, I'll link to everything below so you can take a look at it. And El Diarios, they have this really excellent infographic here so you can see which area of the city, which possibility flood zone. So if you got loved ones there, you can check to see if they're underwater, if their buildings are above water. But again, if you're cut off anywhere in here, you need supplies. So you need water, you need food, you need a way to cook it, you need a way to keep your body clean. And just to give you an idea here, around Valencia, so we can wander the coast here. So if you look at Castellón or going further south, these three areas here comprise almost 5 million people. It says population 4.94 million people. So that's how many people are affected in this flood. And the roads are cut off and the highways are cut off exactly like we saw in North Carolina. But here's the thing. 24 million tourists per year go to this area. So you got to think that's even math. Okay. 2 million per month times 12 months is 24. So 2 million tourists are going to be just generally in this area. They're not going to be there for months because you got to think this first floor, like Airbnbs and different businesses that are going to be super saturated and waterlogged, that are going to need to be a lot of work and you won't be able to stay there. I mean, this is going to affect the travel industry hugely. And even after they get it cleaned up back to, functional again, it's going to take a fair minute to get everything back to the way it was, where there was all that extra space for all these travelers to stay when they were. And please remember, we talk about these same subjects 30 minutes at a time on the civilizationcycle.com podcast. Add your email in there, and I'll get you the show notes along with Ransom every Thursday, what we talk about. And speaking of being prepared, My Patriot Supply and Adapt 2030, if this, after North Carolina and East Tennessee floods and all the hurricanes in Florida, didn't get you to get prepared, and now you see this flood here in Valencia, this would be an excellent end-of-the-year early holiday gift to give somebody who just doesn't want to have the conversation, but you give them the good to start the conversation. I do thank you for watching. Hope you got something out of the video. See you next time. Bye for now.